Good evening, this is STV News. Foreign Minister Toshimitsu Motegi will hold an early telephone and face-to-face meeting with U.S. foreign ministers after President-elect Joe Biden announced the appointment of former Deputy Secretary of State Blinken at the House of Councilors, Foreign Affairs, and Defense Committee on the 1st. He showed the idea of adjusting, saying, "When I officially take office, I would like to promptly communicate with each other and cooperate in the further development of strong U.S.-Japan relations." He also pointed out that Mr. Blinken has a long diplomatic experience and has visited Japan many times. He showed his willingness to build a relationship of trust. Answer to Mr. Tsuneo Kitamura of the Liberal Democratic Party. In the Tokyo stock market on the morning of the 1st, material stocks and semiconductor-related stocks were bought due to the expectations for the development of a vaccine for the new coronavirus infection. The closing price of the Nikkei stock average in the morning rebounded to 26,824.46 yen, up to 390.84 yen from the previous day. On November 30, U.S. biopharmacy company Moderna applied to U.S. authorities for an emergency license to use the corona vaccine. In the United States, in the second application, following Pfizer, a major pharmaceutical company, the use of vaccines has become a reality and has been a plus for investor sentiment, said a major securities firm. In addition, buyback was conspicuous in reaction to the fall in the market price on the previous day. And the yen's depreciation level also supported the rise in the Nikkei average. The yen exchange rate on the Tokyo foreign exchange market on the morning of the 1st fell slightly to the low 104 yen level per dollar. The movement to sell the yen and buy the dollar has spread due to the expectations for the commercializations of the new coronavirus vaccine by U.S. pharmaceutical companies. As of 11 a.m., the yen depreciated and the dollar strengthened by 33 yen compared to the previous day at 104.35 to 35 yen. The coalition held a Central Committee meeting in Urayasu City, Chiba Prefecture on the 1st, and officially decided the struggle policy for 2021 spring battle. Base up there to raise the basic salary demands, the same about 2% as in 20 years. Many companies have suffered from poor performance due to the effects of the new coronavirus, but the coalition wants to sustain the flow of the wage increases by maintaining the required levels. Bare demand has been requested for 8 consecutive years, and the level has been set about 2% for 6 consecutive years. As for the regular salary increase, we request to secure 2% as in 20 years. In his opening remarks, the coalition chairman Rikio Kozu appealed for employment and emphasized that the flow of wage increases should not be stopped. Meanwhile, the Japan Council of Metal Workers Union, which consists of 5 industry-specific labor unions such as automobiles and electric appliances, will officially decide on the 3rd that it will require bears of 3,000 yen or more per month. Following the policy decision of the union and the Japan Council of Metal Workers Union, the labor unions under its umbrella have also solidified their struggle policies, and labor management negotiations will begin in earnest from February next year. According to a labor force survey released by the Ministry of the Internal Affairs and Communications on the 1st, the unemployment rate, seasonally adjusted, in October was 3.1%, up 0.1 points from the previous month. It has deteriorated for the first time in 2 months and has risen to the level for the first time in 3 years and 5 months since May 2017. The number of unemployed people continues to increase as the economy continues to stagnate due to the spread of the new coronavirus infection. On the other hand, the active job openings to applicants ratio announced on the same day by the Ministry of Health, Labor, and Welfare was 1.04 times, an increase of 0.01 points from the previous month, improving slightly for the first time in 1 year and 6 months since April 2019. According to the Labor Force Survey, the number of unemployed people increased by 80,000 from the previous month to 2.14 million, the highest level since April 2016. Looking at the breakdown, the number of employees who left their jobs for personal reasons increased by 90,000 to 830,000, and the number of involuntary employees, including the expiration of employment contracts and dismissals, increased by 40,000 to 690,000. Chief Cabinet Secretary Katsunobu Kato said at a press conference on the 1st that he would respect the opinions of the prefectural governors when deciding whether to exclude a specific area from the target of the National Tourism Support Project, GOTO Travel. He said, "The government will make the final decision, but it is important to listen carefully to the opinions of the prefectural governors who are widely familiar with the infection situation at the medical care provision system. The government has temporarily excluded both Sapporo and Osaka, where the infection situation is deteriorating." When asked about the possibility of expanding the exclusion area in Hokkaido, Mr. Kato said, "We have not received an opinion by experts from the subcommittee that should suspend another area in Hokkaido." He gave a negative view. Kazuyoshi Akaba, Minister of Land, Infrastructure, Transport and Tourism, said at a press conference after the cabinet meeting on the 1st that the tourism support project GOTO Travel limited the travel of people living in Sapporo and Osaka to refrain from using it. There is no need to stop applying the business uniformly at this point. By eliminating the cancellation fee for travelers at the expense of the government and encouraging cancellation, he explained that the effect of restraining usage can be sufficiently secured. The government has decided to exclude trips to both cities from support until the 15th, but has forgotten to exclude trips departing from both cities and has only requested refraining from using them. At the press conference on the 1st, Taro Kono, the minister in charge of administrative reform, visited the Advanced Thermal Reactor FUGEN, Tsuruga City, Fukui Prefecture, which was being decommissioned and was subject to review in the November Administrative Project Review. He expressed his intention to allow the export of nuclear fuel overseas. "I would like to acknowledge that I received a convincing explanation from the Ministry of Education, Culture, Sports, Science and Technology." In the same review, Mr. Kono criticized that the treatment of plutonium extracted by reprocessing overseas is unclear and that the budget cannot be allocated until it becomes public. At the press conference on the 1st, he was asked why he changed his mind, but he only stated, "I can't give details because plutonium is involved." Miyazaki Prefecture announced on the 1st that a highly lethal and highly pathogenic bird flu outbreak occurred at a poultry farm in Hyuga City. This is the 4th prefecture this year to confirm infection at a poultry farm, following Kagawa, Fukuoka, and Hyogo prefectures. Miyazaki is the poultry kingdom with the largest number of broilers in Japan, and the infection spreads, it could have a major impact on the local economy. The outbreak in Miyazaki has been since January 2017. The prefecture has begun culling about 40,000 chickens raised in this poultry farm to prevent the spread of the infection. There are no other poultry farms with a radius of 3 kilometers from the outbreak area, where the movement of chicken and eggs is prohibited, but 16 farms within 3 to 10 kilometers radius will limit their removal from the area. A total about 550,000 birds are bred on 16 farms. According to the prefecture, the poultry farm reported that the number of dead chickens was increasing on November 30, and when the prefecture's Livestock Hygiene Service Center conducted a simple test, 10 birds tested positive for bird flu. Subsequent genetic testing detected the H5 subtype virus. On the 1st, the Tokyo Metropolitan Government reinstalled the symbol mark of the huge Olympics in Odaiba Marine Park, Minato Ward. The symbol mark was initially installed to foster the momentum of the Tokyo Olympics, which was scheduled to be held this summer, but was temporarily removed in August for painting and inspection due to the postponement of the Games. After the removal, it was transported by ship to a shipyard in Yokohama City, where it was painted in Olympic colors. According to the city, there was no major deterioration, such as rust, due to the sea breeze, and it was confirmed that it could be installed safely until the end of next year's competition. The person in charge of the city said, "I'm revealed to be back safely. I want many people to see it again. After the Olympic Games are closed, it will be removed and a new Paralympic symbol will be installed." The size of the Olympic symbol is 32.6 meters wide, 15.3 meters long, 1.7 meters wide, and is made of steel. It is lit up white at night. And that's all for today. See you tomorrow for another news update.